Hello, everyone. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Today, we're going to be getting into the importance of knowing who you truly are, having the faith and audacity in yourself to truly be that, because it's quite apparent we live in a world that often wants to make you be a certain way. Everyone's telling you how you should think, how you should dress, how you should act, how you should talk, what you should buy, what you shouldn't do, who you should be, rather than simply being you. Everyone's telling you be this rather than just be you. And that leads to a huge problem where a lot of people don't know who they truly are because, for one, they've never taken the time to know themselves. Two, they've never been taught the skills to do that. And three, they didn't grow up in an environment that promoted that. Because when you grow up in an environment that constantly restricts you, that gets ingrained in you. Like children are like sponges. They soak up what's around them. So if as a child someone was in an environment that constricted them, pushed them down, that's what they soaked up. And if they don't fix that, they're going to continue to do that on themselves down the line. Because as a child, the seed gets planted, as you get older, that seed will grow. It will grow into a weed or will grow into a flower. Now, let's move into the presentation itself. Okay, are you able to see my screen? Are you able to see the presentation right there? Okay, good. Let's expand that. So this image right here, I know it might look a little funky, but we're going to work from the outside in. So from the big circle into the little circle. Your reality. That is what you experience. That's the combination of things like how people treat you, how you treat yourself. So the food you eat, the shows you watch, the behaviors you have, what you are around, that is your reality. Then we have your actions, the things you do. So you wake up and the first thing you do is brush your teeth, or it's get your phone, or it's get dressed, or go to work, or eat breakfast. These are your behaviors. And every day we have many, many behaviors. You might you might write, you might read, you might cook, sleep, eat. These are your behaviors. And your behaviors are the things which are going to build into your reality. So your actions build your reality. If you take bricks and lay them down, you will make a house. If you take cement and metal poles and lay those down, you'll build a skyscraper. The action creates the outcome. Now, what fuels the action? The ego, which is what you think of yourself. So if I think of myself as a attractive person, if I think of myself as a dedicated, hardworking person, I'm going to do dedicated, hardworking actions, which then lead to a reality of dedication and hard work. So because I think I am able to share my ideas, I think I have something of value and I want to provide that. I do the action of recording a video of myself talking and giving that value, which then leads to the reality of people watching and getting the value. Now, the ego self is fueled by the true. Actually, the ego self is separate from the true self. Think of your ego as what you think of yourself. The true self is what you actually are. And that true self is so expansive, it is so universal that the ego might say, I hate this, this sucks, I am a victim. The true self says, I am a creator, I can create what I want. So, something I did led to this situation. That's what the true self is going to think. Because it doesn't look at things from the how did this feel perspective. It looks at it more as it simply is. It simply just is. The true self is what many people refer to as their higher self. their soul, the voice of God. There's so many names for it, but at the core, it's really just a higher intuition. It is the you that just knows what needs to be done. The ego might not want to do it because, oh, this is going to suck. The true self knows, yeah, it might suck, but you need to do it. And then that's going to, then now we can go from in, out. Based on that true self, if you connect with your true self, your ego self and the true self become one, where you're able to know that here's how it feels, here's what I want, but here's what I need. The true self is what you need. The ego is what you want. And then based off of that, you will change your actions, which then change your reality. Now, circling back to the major point, when we are children, especially fresh babies, we are dependent on everyone for everything. Like as a baby, your life is purely based around others and hoping they care for you. So you don't even have the concept of individual self yet. You don't know how to, as a baby, you cannot connect with your true self because you don't even know it yet. Because your whole life depends on making sure that people don't starve you. You can't be protected from anything. And as a baby, you have to cry to get your basic needs met. So if you need to be changed, if you need food, water, shelter, whatever, you're just crying and crying and crying and begging and hoping that somebody helps and saves you. And that is something which a lot of people continue to do later on into life, but we will get to that further in the presentation. Now, around 18 months is when babies start to crawl, they can walk around, which symbolizes a freedom from the parent. And that freedom from the parent is also, more importantly, a freedom from restriction. The baby is still restricted, of course. They can't drive or anything, but they have a taste of that freedom. And now they're interacting with their environment. So as you can see here in the image, we have a baby playing with the blocks. That is them seeing cause and effect. Like, okay, if I put them this way, this happens. If I put things this way, that happens. And being able to interact, explore, and create. So if the baby made a certain pattern, it'll look differently. And from their perspective, they're just exploring, they're just seeing what happens. Like babies don't really think far out, they just are like, what's going to happen? And this is something I've seen in my brother. He'll just do stuff and just see what happens. And over time, you realize, okay, this works, this does not work. And at that state, they're super, super sensitive to criticism, like very, because they're still in that stage where almost all their life is dependent upon others. They're still in that stage where they can't do anything on their own yet. However, they are beginning to get an awareness of I, like, what do they want beyond food and milk, just the parental needs? Like, I want toys. I want TV. They don't know what specifically, but they know the general target. So now when you move out of this stage of development, you go into that child and teen era, where now they have a basis of, they have like a more clear idea what they want. So they don't just want a toy, they want a Hot Wheels. They don't just want a Hot Wheels, they want the red Hot Wheels. Now, as far as food, let's say cereal, Cinnamon Toast Crunch. You get the point there. Now, here where things are very, very important to the key message. This is the stage where they begin to form social groups outside of the home. So you might have what you got going on in your family, but now you have your friends, you have your school, you have playgrounds, your soccer team. And if I'm going too fast, feel free to let me know, and I'll slow down a bit because I know when I do these, I talk fast. I get energized. So now they have their group, and when you have a group, that brings in having other people's opinions, other influence in your life, other just hearing other people's ideas of what you are, like, oh man, I don't like your shirt. I don't like the way you dress. I don't like the way you talk. Or you'll have people who are receptive to you, who are energized with you, and who do indeed support you. Now, moving on from there, they're able to now process what's actually going on around them. Because you always, even as a baby, you can see things like you're like, oh, that is hot. This person is upset. But when you get to that child point where you're like 5, 10, around that age, now you're able to really see, oh, this person is upset because of this reason. There is a problem at home. There is a issue in the friend group. There's something going on the news, or something happened on my block. The child can now process that, and they can remember it into adulthood, which is where you get things like childhood trauma, where you get things like a lot of mental disorders stem from that. And they're still really dependent upon others, but they can function on their own, doing basics like microwaves, catch a bus. And that symbolizes another layer of that freedom from other, like from the parent, from the structure, because now they can meet their own basic needs. They can get water, they can get food, they can meet their own base needs. Now, why do I keep referring back to your base needs? Because before you can worry about developing identity and developing who you are on a higher level, you need to take care of what you got down here. You need to take care of food, water, shelter before you can start worrying about the emotions, the happiness, the peace, the fulfillment. Now, into our last section. And this is where it all comes together. Most people live the rest of their life based on their childhood conditioning. So at the bottom here, you got your childhood conditioning. So this is things like what you were told growing up by your parents. So if you came from parents who were like very neglectful, very abusive, very avoidant of you, that can make you feel as though you are worthy of that. Like, it makes you think that, oh, this is what I deserve, because if people who are meant to care for me and meant to love me unconditionally did that, then of course other people would do that. And that's where you get things like people dating people that they know are bad for them. Like, they know for a fact this person is bad for them. It's not, oh, they just have a few flaws here and there. No, he beating on you. Or this woman stealing all your money. Or whatever the case may be. You're knowingly dating somebody who you know is bad for you. Or another case would be, if you grew up around parents who smoked all the time, more than likely, well, you have a much, much higher chance of you yourself ending up smoking too, because that is what you saw growing up. That is what you were around growing up. That is why a lot of people who come from alcoholic families end up being alcoholics. Or why a lot of people who came from poor families end up being poor, because that's what they saw growing up. They saw bad financial habits. They saw poverty. They saw scarcity. They saw lack. So logically, if that is what you're used to and that is what's normalized to you, that is what you're going to go to. Moving up from there, you have the walls we built up and boundary issues. So, following the example of a child who neglected, they're going to let people walk all over. They're going to be a people pleaser because that is what they were told to be growing up. Now, as far as jealousy goes, it's a whole lot easier to be jealous and hate on somebody else, to shame them, to not put in the work, because putting in the work to improve your mental, improve your physical, improve your financial, it ain't easy whatsoever. It is not easy, but it is very worthwhile. And the problem is, most people never take the time to do that because it's hard. It's a lot easier to point and try to put somebody else down than it is to put in the work to build yourself up. Now, moving on from your childhood conditioning, which then laid the framework for certain boundaries you have, people pleasing, jealousy, and all those things. Also, on the opposite side of this, I know I'm mainly talking on the negatives, but the positive side of this would be people who have like good boundaries. They are able to stand up for themselves. They don't have a lot of self doubt because everyone has doubts here and there, but they just don't have a lot of them. Now, above these walls and boundaries, you have personality. Your personality is going to be things like how do you treat others? How do you treat yourself? Are you generally a upbeat person? Are you optimistic? Are you very pessimistic? Are you super skeptical? That's where things like personality fall into. And then on that top part where I left it blank, that's where things like your highest self are. So for a lot of people, your highest self is things like just you doing really good in life. Whether that is your financial best, your physical best, your most friendships, relationships, good family, people love and support you, people respect you, things like that. That is the peak area. But in order to get to the peak area, you need to have a strong foundation, whether you were given a strong foundation by the parents or you learn how to create one for yourself. So going from victim to hero of your story. Now, once you have that foundation, you need to know how to reinforce it, how to protect it. That's where your boundaries and not being a people pleaser come in. Then after that, personality. You need to be somebody who others want to be around. Because you can have the best boundaries, you can have the best conditioning in the world, but if you're not an enjoyable person to be around, not in a people pleasing way, not in a faking who you are way, but rather in just genuinely being somebody who is likable, genuinely being somebody who is loving and deserving and good to be around, people aren't going to be there. So if you don't have people around you, if you don't have a good, you know, connection with yourself, you can't have that connection with the highest. You can't have the connection with the peak. Because, like I said, to get up here to the top level, you need to have the bottom levels intact. If any of these bottom levels are intact, you cannot get to that highest level. And lastly, what does this lead to? All of these things lead to one of two outcomes. You have the unhealed child, which lived their reality, which lived to a false reality and an identity which is hurt. These are people who can't take criticism whatsoever. Like they start bawling their eyes out. They're super upset. They're super angry because somebody criticized them. Then you have the self-actualized self. That is somebody who has a good connection with themselves. They're able to handle criticism. They live an authentic life. They're genuine to who they are. And everyone's going to fall somewhere on that spectrum. At the very bottom of the spectrum, you have, like the PR said, the people who can't handle criticism, get super angry, don't know how to have any kind of resilience, like they're man baby, man child. We all see them. We hate those. At the top, you have the self-actualized self, which is somebody who is firm in their beliefs, not overly strict. They do not impose this upon other people. They don't force you to live how they live. They live how they live. You can live how you want to live, but they will live how they live. They're able to handle criticism. They're resilient. They know what they stand for. They know what they believe in. They know what they want out of life. Everyone falls from that spectrum. And the thing I want to leave you guys with is, where do you fall? Where are you on that spectrum? And if you don't like where you are, you have to accept the fact that you put yourself there. We can't blame the people from our past for what we are. We can't blame society. We can't blame your family. We can't blame your friend or your ex-girlfriend who cheated on you, or your boyfriend who left you, whatever. We can't keep blaming other people. It's so easy to blame everybody and everything else. It's 1,000,001 excuses we could name. 1,000,001 excuses we could name. We could talk about your family wasn't there. We could talk about people. We could talk about the government. We could talk about the laws. We could talk about everything under the sun and say that, oh no, yes. I hope that just made sense. That whole hand motion I did right there. I hope that makes sense here. The point of it was that when you're complaining and blaming everyone and everything else, rather than addressing the root cause, which is within you, rather than addressing the fact that you are the one who got yourself where you are, rather than addressing the fact that you need to take the steps to advance in your life, rather than address these, and instead we go and blame everybody and everyone and everything else, that is the problem. The problem is people have gotten so used to complaining, people have gotten so used to just avoiding rather than just doing the work. And this is the kind of work that's going to help you to be your best self. This kind of work that's going to make you the man, woman, person for your family, your children, better at your job, whatever it is that you want to do in life. It starts with you. It starts with you. You're the change maker for your life. You're the architect of your movie. You are the director. You are the actor. You are the script writer. You are the casting. You are the special effects. You do the makeup. You do the lighting for your movie. And you need to have the audacity to live your life like it is a movie because you're the only one, you're the star character of your movie, and everyone else is the characters in their movie. But the problem is, we get so often told to be humble, to, but see, there's a difference between being humble and being, there's a big, big difference between being humble and limiting yourself. Like, take Mike Tyson. Oh no, not Mike Tyson. Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather is a very braggadocious person. However, he brags about stuff that is a fact. 50 fights, no losses, 50 fight winning streak. That's the facts. Michael Jackson. He would step out on stage before he even sung. He'd just stand there and people in the crowd fainting. That's just a fact. Another good example is a runway model steps out on the runway, just literally walking, and people are out there fanning their face, they sweating bullets. Like, this is what I need you guys to understand. This is what I need you to understand. You are the main character of your movie. You're the one who gets to run the show for your movie. And I want you to understand that when you connect with that higher self, when you connect with who you truly are on the deepest, most authentic level, that is when you are going to feel your absolute best. Because let me tell you, I had time in my life where I lived there thinking, oh, what is this person gonna think? What is that person gonna think? What if they judge me? What if this? What if that? And I start thinking about everything except what I wanted for my life using my time with my money. Think about that. Think about that. People will go work 8 hours at a job that they hate, right? So they can get money, not so they can pay their bills or feed themselves or do these things. Instead, they're trying to get this money so they can look cool other people who they don't even like. You're trying to impress your hater. You're trying to impress your hater. A lot of people are trying to impress their hater, not impress themselves, not put themselves and a family in a good living situation, not provide for their kids, not feed their family, not make sure they pay their bills and keep their lights and heat on, not buy their mama a car, not help the homeless. A lot of people are just living their life so disconnected from themselves that they're trying to connect with what other people want them to be. They're being what others want them to be rather than being who they know they are. Ain't that something? Ain't that something? People are being what others want them to be instead of being who they know they are because they don't want to be judged. They would rather be loved by others than they would rather be loved by others and hated by themselves than loved by a few and loved by themselves. Let me repeat that for you, because I know that word might sound a little choppy. People would rather be loved by other people, but hated by themselves, than be loved by themselves, but have other people who hate on them. Me personally, to my current knowledge, I don't have haters. At least none that talk. No, nobody publicly hates on me. I can walk down the street unfazed. I don't got nobody looking for me. None. None. Lawrence stays out the way. Lawrence minds his business. You will never see me gossiping. You will never see me bad mouthing. You will never see me doing any of these things. Why? Because I don't care enough to do that. To hate on somebody, you gotta care. You're putting emotional energy into that. And it's that same emotional energy that you're using to put somebody else down that you could instead use to put yourself up. I understand that, people in life, we have people who frustrate us, okay? It's one thing if somebody really do something and you got to vent about it, that's different. I'm saying if just in your day-to-day life, a lot of people walk around, they're like, you heard about what so-and-so? You heard about this? Just in the shadows, lurking. Keyboard warriors. That's what I call them, keyboard warriors. A lot of people talk crazy on the internet, but never say nothing in person. A lot of people like that. But I'm gonna close out with this. You can be who you want to be. After that 10 I just went on there, you can be who you want to be. Don't worry about what everybody else wants to be. Okay? If you want to walk around in basketball shorts and a t-shirt, do it. Okay, don't do that at a job interview. Don't do that in a professional place. But if you want to do it and just walking down the street to the corner store, do it. If you want to go to school in a suit and tie just because you feel like it, do it. I did. I did that all the time. Just because I felt like it. People be like, why are you wearing a suit? You got an interview later? No. I just feel like it. Plain and simple, I just feel like it. And that's the key message right there. You got to have audacity to just do it. Like Nike said, just do it. Okay? Just do it. I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. Because everyone and their mama, everyone gonna have an opinion. But the one opinion that matters more than theirs about your life, let me repeat that. The opinion about your life that matters the most is yours. Yours, your life, your opinion about your life is the one that you need to follow. Learn to tune in with yourself. Learn to be who you are. Be yourself. Be that core person. Be that person who gonna wake up and do what he want to do. Do what you want to do. Do what you want to do. Make your life your movie. Connect with yourself and have the audacity that when people start judging, let them. Let them. People judge all the time. People judge movies. They judge cartoon shows. They do all that. But you know what? It's up to you. It's up to you. Embrace yourself. Love yourself. And I hope that you have a wonderful, lovely, blessed day. And make sure you tune into my next one. Because one of these days, them prices going to go up. So you better get in while the going is good. You better get in while the tickets are cheap. Because one of these days, I'm going to start charging $10,000. But yeah, hope you have a good day. Be yourself. Go out there. Be somebody. No matter if the world try to say you're not. Have a good one.